morning and welcome to the JD coverage of the boys modified swim meet. This morning we have the JD CBA Red Rams versus the Weedsport Warriors. The tale of today's tape, very low numbers for each team. For JD, you're going to have you'll see 8 swimmers throughout the meet. For Weedsport, you'll have 3 swimmers.
My name is Werner, and I'll be your color commentator for the day.
I'm Dekaney, and I'll be your play-by-play commentator. We're very excited to bring you this coverage and get the parents and all family of the swimmers watching. A public service announcement from Janesville DeWitt Athletics. The best precaution you can take against COVID-19 is to stay home whenever possible. We thank you for keeping yourself and our student athletes safe by watching this broadcast remotely. Let us bring the meet to you instead. Welcome back to the boys and girls modified swim meet this morning. JDCBA Red Rams versus the Weedsport Warriors. Today's schedule will be a little bit different than your normal swim meet. We're going to start with diving. Up first will be Brody Kesslering. Nice front tuck dive there from Brody. Got to remember this could be some of these divers' first ever meets competing.
That's from last meet. Hopefully it'll cycle through. Okay, it didn't.
All right, up next for diving will be Max Karinga. Another nice front dive tuck there. What do you see, Will?
It was a very good dive, good technique. Everything was good about that dive.
6.5 for the scores. Got to remember with these divers, always trying to enter the water as vertical as you can be, point your toes, and have a nice entry with a little splash. Here we'll see Cameron Corona up for his first dive. Very nice front one somersault in the straight position. Scores of 6, 6.5, and 6.5. That'll wrap up the first round of 4 in today's diving. Brody Kesslering with his second dive of a front dive pike position, or front somersault, excuse me. 4.5 and 6. It'll be 17.1 points on that dive scored. And here's Max Gringa for his second dive. Making sure to loosen up before his dive. Very nice front 1.5 twister.
Yes, it looked like a very good dive right there.
Scores of 4.5 and 5 from the judges will result him in 21.6 points scored on that dive. Here's Cameron Corona for his second dive. Cameron actually does parkour in his free time. See a lot of his TikToks online. He really loves flipping. I think that's why he's here diving. Another really nice front 1.5 somersault with a half twist from Cameron Corona.
It looked better than his first dive. He's doing really good right now.
Definitely scores of 6 and 6.5. Tyler, thank you for the comment. We did get Will's mic fixed. Here's Brody Kesslering for his third dive of 4. A very nice inward dive tuck right there. We'll see what the judges' scores would be, 6.5 and 6.5.
A very good dive right there.
You know, you can see he entered the water vertically. He had his toes pointed, kept a strong brace of the arms, and that's what created that little splash. Max Gringa for his third of 4 dives. Very nice back straight dive. Scores of 4.5 and 5. Will result him. Oh, excuse me. Here's Cameron Corona for his third of 4 dives. A very nice back straight somersault right there. We'll see what judges' scores are, 5 and 5.
Did a lot better than his last 2 dives, so I think he's doing really good today.
You know, Cameron gets a lot of height in his jump. He's a fast spinner, obviously, with that parkour background, and I think he's going to be a diver to look out for here in the future of JD. Here's Brody Kesslering with his 4th and final dive. Another nice straight one back somersault. Judges scores of 5.5, and 6.
I think it was his best dive of the day so far.
I think so. I think he'll definitely be happy to end on something like that. You can see, obviously, already, just due to the lack of size here on both these teams, officials and the coaches trying to get this meet moving along very quickly, and I think that'll help us in the end. Here's Max Gringer for his 4th and final dive. Nice inward dive tuck right there to finish off his list. Judges scores of 4.5 and 5. He will finish with 91 points. Here's Cameron Corona's 4th and final dive, an inward 1 somersault. Really nice dive there to end off his list.
I'll take a perfect dive right there.
I think he'll be very happy with his performance, and definitely a lot to take on and improve into the next meet. That'll conclude the diving portion of this meet. We will now move on to the 200 medley relay. We will have only one squad from JD in lane 2. That'll consist of Robert Cavaluzzi, Max Karinga, Daniel Liu, and Mark DeRoberts. You know, we speak about the team size, or the size of each team. Another important factor with that is just the population size of each town. You can see there almost 4 times the amount in Jamesville that you have in Weedsport, definitely affecting just the amount of talent level you have to choose from. And
like the size of the school, like like Nick said, it does like gives you a limited amount of people that would do swimming or any sport in general for your talent level. So it's gonna affect your team a lot.
Definitely. Here's the qualifying times for the 200-yard medley relay. Reminder, this is for high school athletics. These are modified swimmers, so they are not held to any of these times, but it is nice to have something to shoot for. There will be there's no Section 3 standard, but they do have the state cut and the All-American times. So, Will, tell me, what did you see from diving that you really liked, and some other things that you think they can still improve on?
I saw that after a while, like their dives got more like fluent and better. I think like the beginning of the meet, they're all nervous and jittery, but I think once they got through the first dive or 2 dives, they got more used to the meet and started doing better.
Definitely. I think being some of their first times ever competing in a diving meet, I think they did an excellent job. It's one of the most mentally demanding sports there is. Just the idea of flipping in different directions and twisting and then knowing where you are in the air. I know my brother Lucas Dekaney, who's a diver here at JD for about 6 years. He went through the modified levels and the varsity levels. He'll tell you a lot about that. It is one of the toughest sports out there. So just another round of applause to these athletes. So we're getting ready for the 200-yard medley relay. Once again, I'll remind you, only one team from Jamesville DeWitt competing. That'll consist of Robert Cavalluzzi, Max Karinga, Daniel Liu, and Mark DeRoberts.
Another thing that could affect their swimming today is the cold. It's been very cold out the past week, and maybe that's like made them more tired, or just not wanting to swim because the pool is also very cold. So that might affect their performance today.
I know definitely waking up this morning, definitely did not want to get out of bed, wanted to stay underneath the covers where it was warm, but it's important for all of us to get out and do something, and today had to fight the cold, and here we are. A little bit of discussion between the officials and the coaches before we proceed with this meet.
So Nick, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl coming up?
We have possibly an all-time classic matchup between the GOAT right now and Tom Brady, and maybe an up-and-coming GOAT in Patrick Mahomes. I didn't really want to see either of these teams in the Super Bowl, to be honest, but I think I'm going to roll with Tom Brady. I don't know if you can really go against 6 Super Bowl rings, and we'll see how it pans out. I think it'll be a great game. What do you think, Will?
I think Tom Brady will win another Super Bowl. He's just the best quarterback, the best player to ever do it. So I think he'll win this year's Super Bowl and continue his legacy until he retires.
Think he'll retire if he wins this one this year?
I think he'll wait another season or two
Okay.
and then retire.
Another thing to think about just with these super small sizes of teams is, you got to have good chemistry between each other. You have to all get along. You can't really have any bad feelings with a team this small because it'll be obvious and get in the way of your performance. There you can see only 3 Weedsport swimmers, and they actually are girls this meet. This is common with certain high school teams or modified teams. If you don't have enough swimmers to create only a women's roster or a men's roster, they will combine the two and compete in the men's season.
You see, as in high school too, a lot of teams need to combine 2 schools to make one team. Like for the varsity team and JD and CBA combined to make one team, which is not that uncommon for sports.
I think just given the location of the two right across the street from each other too, that makes it pretty easy for them.
Yeah.
Still a little bit of confusion before this first event, which would be the 200 medley relay. Just some confusion with the pre-meet checklist. Happened after diving, but I think we should be on our way now. All right, and you can see already just with these new standards to cope with COVID-19, swimmers got to keep their masks on up until the point where they have to race. They have nice bags right by the blocks to make sure they stand dry. And really applaud our swimmers for staying socially distanced and keeping everything safe during these wild times. Up first for the 200 medley relay will be Robert Cavalluzzi. Will, this being some of these swimmers' first ever meets, what do you think they're trying to take away, and what do you think the coaches are trying to get out of this?
I think they are trying to, perfect their weaknesses because it's the first time ever swimming in a real meet. And I feel like they'll focus on that, and then they'll fix what they need to fix in practice the upcoming week.
And I think, again, with the limited number of swimmers, also gives these individuals a good opportunity to swim different events and see which ones are kind of tailored to and which events are for them and which ones aren't. A lot of different types of events in swimming. Obviously, you have your freestyle, your backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. Different events tailored to different sizes of people, different builds. So I think these swimmers will have a good opportunity to see what they like. Still waiting here for the 200 medley relay to start. And here we go. We will start in the backstroke style. We are off with our first race of the day in the boys and girls modified swim meet.
It looks like he's doing pretty well right now. Getting through the swimming meet pretty well.
You know, backstroke, obviously one of the tougher strokes up there with butterfly. Blind swimming, have to have good awareness of where you are in the pool, especially coming up right into here the turn.
Like we said about awareness, he has to make sure he doesn't run into the side poles so that he doesn't mess up the swim.
See Robert Cavalluzzi just kind of settling into a groove here. Up next will be Max Skaringa. And he will tap as soon as Robert hits the wall. There you go.
You can see his teammates cheering him on a lot. They definitely have good chemistry right now, which is very good for a team.
And Max keeping a great pace here for the breaststroke portion of this relay. Really nice flip turn there. Coming up into the tap, it'll be Daniel Liu to swim the next portion of this relay. You can still hear the enthusiasm from his teammates. Really just cheering him on, have a great camaraderie, you can already tell. Here's Daniel Liu for the butterfly portion of the relay. Dude, they're such a fun event to watch. Surging in and out of the water, and I think he's really got a hang of this. Really nice turn there. Comes to the last 25. You know, they call it butterfly just because of the motion of your body, you know.
Yeah,
coming out of the water with the top and swinging with the hips.
Yeah, you look like a butterfly, like how they fly around. It's like how your arm's supposed to go in the swimming meet.
Really fun style of swimming to watch. And here is Mark DeRoberts for the freestyle portion of the relay. See, he's really chopping it up here.
He's a very fast swimmer. He's going to be very good in the varsity level in the future.
You just hear the overwhelming support from his teammates as he comes into the last 5 meters.
And that definitely helps your team out when you have all the support from your teammates. It makes you definitely perform better.
Hugo touches the wall at 256.2. Very nice first event there for the Janesville DeWitt Red Rams. Really nice race there, and that'll be 6 points awarded to the Red Rams. I make the score 19-0 after the first 2 events.
Yeah, that's a very good score right there.
Up next in the 200 freestyle, we'll have one swimmer in lane 2. That is Garrett Fuller. And here's some of the new mandates that we've put in place with these, to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. Masks on until you're in the pool. You can see that evident with all the swimmers. No hugs, high fives, and handshakes. Temperature checks at the door. No spectators inside the building. High-risk sports have been moved to March. No playoffs with these sports. And yes, we are broadcasting with masks on. Here's Garrett Fuller for the first and only heat of the 200 freestyle. And he's off. Garrett will go down and back the pool four times. With a longer race like the 200, what do you think is important for these swimmers to manage as the race goes on?
I think they should manage their energy so they don't get too tired halfway through their lane. And I think if they manage that, they'll be very well today.
Coming into the first flip turn, still holding a very good pace. We'll see how he holds up. Fatigue definitely a big factor in these longer freestyle events, but I think he's doing a good job, and he has very efficient swimming motion. Another important thing to obviously realize is he's the only person in the pool.
Yeah.
So no competition to really go against. He's really just, it's him against the clock.
It's more of a mental game now for him since he can't see anybody to compete against. He's just competing against himself right now.
It's really just another great opportunity to kind of feel out where he is in this event and if this is something he wants to continue to compete in. Coming into the final flip turn, here's Garrett Fuller. You can see he's maintained his pace very well throughout this race. He continues to do that until the home stretch.
You can hear all this support from his teammates, which will definitely help him when he's the only person in the pool right now.
My mistake, he has one more lap to go. You know, swimming has never been one of my favorite sports to compete in. I am absolutely not a fan. I don't like having not being able to breathe in the water. Myself being a track athlete, this is not what I was meant for. But I think it seems like Garrett Fuller was meant for this.
Yes, he looks very smooth out there, very good.
Finishing time of 2:22.05 unofficially. Really nice race there from Garrett Fuller. All right, in our third event of the meet, we will have the 100-yard IM. In lane 1, we'll feature Cameron Corona from Janesville DeWitt. In lane 4, we'll feature Danielle L. We do not have a last name. I apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. Lane 1, we have Cameron Corona. Lane 2 is Daniel Liu from JD. In lane 4, we will have Megan House. You know, finally, the first event with competitors from both sides and from both teams. We'll see how that affects them here. In the IM mixed event, swimmers will compete in each stroke in swimming, starting with the breaststroke, obviously now into the backstroke.
It's definitely one of the hardest strokes in swimming right now, and how they're managing this pressure is kind of very good.
Definitely. Daniel Liu leading into the flip turn. Back to breaststroke here. Megan House following closely behind, and Cameron Corona behind her in third.
For Weedsport, this is their first swimmer in the pool today, so she's trying to shake off her nerves and get into her groove. So this might be a little slow start for Weedsport.
Here's Daniel Liu powering through with the lead. Coming into the home stretch. Good win for Daniel Liu. Megan House following closely behind in second. Behind her is Cameron Corona. Great race for the swimmers. Nice to finally see some competition today.
So Nick, how do you think that went? Those
I think
swims?
it was fun to watch. You know, a lot of different strokes in that in the IM. It's always one of the more entertaining races in swimming, especially as you get to the higher levels of competition. But I think for these swimmers' first time, I think they did a great job.
Yes, I agree.
So up now, we'll have the 50-yard freestyle, featuring a swimmer in every lane. From JD, we will have Mark DeRoberts in lane 1, Robert Cavaluzzi in lane 2, and Alex Cole in lane 3. You can see the qualifying times for the 50-yard freestyle. Again, these are high school qualifying times. For Section 3, 25.99, State Meet 22.19, and All-American 20.54.
I think JD could be battling right now is tiredness and fatigue because they've already been swimming a lot.
It's a good point to bring up. Definitely with the smaller amount of swimmers, you got to compete more events.
And for a Weedsport, it can be difficult because most players, it's the first time jumping in the pool today. So it might be hard for them to get used to it.
Here we are with the first and only heat of the 50-yard freestyle. This is a sprint event. Swimmers will go down and back, and that is all. Lane 6 from Weedsport taking the lead early, but here comes lane 3 from Janesville DeWitt. Alex Cole powering through at the turn. It's a really powerful swimming style right there. Followed closely behind in lane 6 from Weedsport. Alex Cole just powering through, and he'll win this one easily. Following closely behind is lane 6 from Weedsport. Finishing third behind them will be Mark DeRoberts from Janesville DeWitt. Fun race there to watch. What do you see, Will?
I saw that lane 3 was dominating in this race. It was very fun to watch, and he was a very fast swimmer. I feel like Jay definitely won this round of the swimming.
You can see the swimmers imposing those mask mandates as soon as they exit the pool, making sure that they and everyone else is safe. Always a fun race, the 50-yard freestyle. And coming up next, we will have the 50-yard butterfly. Competing in that, we will have only Garrett Fuller from Janesville DeWitt in lane 2. Another important factor in today's meet is the distance traveled by these Weedsport warriors. 45 minutes is the time from the junior, senior high school to the James DeWitt middle school. Definitely questions of fatigue, is waking up even earlier than the JD athlete's going to hurt them and possibly tire them out.
And since you're traveling in a school bus, sometimes the school bus isn't as comfortable, and it's hard to like relax on the school bus, and sometimes it's really cold because of the weather.
Definitely, I think
so that might affect them too.
I think given this morning too, really cold temperatures, that could have been an important factor to think of. Here's Garrett Fuller for the 50-yard butterfly. Important to note that Garrett has been the only swimmer in both of his individual events. We'll see how he does here. Here's Garrett. Another really fun stroke to watch. The butterfly. Really one of the more physically demanding strokes in swimming. You got to make sure to keep yourself out of the water while also generating enough power from your legs to keep yourself moving. He looks to have a hang of it though here. Coming into the home stretch, very quick race for Garrett. Looks to be a very powerful swimmer and one to watch in the coming meets.
I feel like Garrett will be a very good varsity swimmer in the future.
All right, that wraps up the 50-yard butterfly. We will now move into the 100-yard freestyle, featuring Alex Cole in lane 1 from James DeWitt and Daniel Liu in lane 2. We also have another athlete from Weedsport in lane 4. You can hear the swimmers saying Garrett actually beat their freestyle times.
Some good friendly competition between JD, which is always good to have on your team.
You can tell just the atmosphere of this JD team. They all really get along, and they're all joking, and they're all able to have fun while also competing with each other. So here we are with the first and only heat of the 100-yard freestyle. Again, in lane 1, Alex Cole, lane 2, Daniel Liu, in lane 4, Weedsport. We apologize, we don't have the names. They're off here. Daniel Liu holding a slight lead over Alex Cole. They look to be about even coming into the first turn. Daniel still holding that lead. Important to maintain your form and stay efficient and relaxed in the water. Similar to track, really. Always important to stay relaxed while also giving your maximum effort, because you start to tight up. You don't get as much movement in your muscles. Much harder to compete. Daniel Liu still holding a sizable lead now over Alex Cole and the Weedsport athlete.
I feel like fatigue is not affecting any of the JD athletes today. They're always performing at the top level.
And I think given this is their first meet, it gives them a nice goal to set for. With hopefully you will have other competitors in the pool with them for their next meets, and I think that'll only help to improve their times. And
it shows them what they need to work on when they have practice coming up, so they get to perfect their skills.
Definitely. Here's the Weedsport athlete coming in. Very nice job there from all of our athletes. I don't know if I would have been able to beat any of those. I won't lie.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I like to stay on the land rather than get in the water. All right, coming into our 8th event of the morning, we have the 50-yard backstroke. This will feature Mark Roberts in lane 2 from JD, and another athlete from Weedsport in lane 4. It'll be fun to watch. We have a one-on-one, basically.
It's a very close match right now. I feel like it's more fun for the swimmers when there's somebody else in the pool since they have somebody to compete against.
Right now, the Weedsport athlete currently outstroking Mark Roberts. She'll have a slight lead coming into the turn. See, really nice form right there from the Weedsport athlete. Gets full extension of her arms, using her legs too, and she's chopping it up.
She's really dominating this round right now. She's definitely going to win this one.
A nice win right there and a much needed one for the Weedsport Warriors. Great event there by all of our athletes. Wrapping up the 50-yard backstroke, we will now move into the 50-yard breaststroke, featuring swimmers in every lane. My goodness, and there is one Weedsport athlete who just finished their race and is already going back for the next one.
She must be very well conditioned for this because it's going to be very hard to manage 2 swims in a row and not get tired.
Gotta give her props. Takes good coaching, and you need to be in good physical shape to do something like that. For JD, we will see Robert Cavalluzzi in lane 1, Max Kring in lane 2, and Brody Kessling in lane 3. Weedsport will have athletes in lanes 4, 5, and 6. Again, this is a down and back event in the breaststroke category. That's lane 2, Max Kringa off to a fast start there for JD. Followed close behind by Brody Kessling in lane 3 and the Weedsport athlete in lane 4. Coming to the turn, Max Kringa holding a nice lead there.
Looks like JD's going to win this one.
I think so, and Brody Kessling, though, close behind, but there is a Weedsport athlete closing on him. That'll be a win for Max Kringa for the JD Red Rams. Fall behind in second, Brody Kessling. And in third, it'll be the Weedsport athlete from lane 4. Fourth, another JD athlete in lane 1, Robert Cavalluzzi. And 5 and 6 coming in is for Weedsport. You can tell, obviously, very fast swim meet here, moving quickly between all the events. We'll now move into our 10th and final event of the morning, the 200 freestyle relay. Well, what do you think you've seen so far, just overall from this meet, and what do you think these swimmers can take away with their performance?
I see that JD, since they have more swimmers, they're just dominating this meet today. I feel like each swimmer definitely has some weaknesses they can work on when they have the next practice. I feel like it's a very good learning experience for all the swimmers today.
Definitely, being some of these swimmers' first times getting in the pool for competition, we applaud all of them, and they're doing a great job. See here our 200-yard freestyle relay qualifying times. Once again, these are high school qualifying times. There's none for sectionals. For the state meet, you have 130.12 and All-American 124.8. We're going to take this time to shout out the Jamesville DeWitt newspaper, the Rampage. They cover articles on all athletics.
For high school and modified.
They do a great job, actually run by one of our fellow commentators. He's not here today, but it's Tyler Aiken. Big shout out to him. He does a great job, and they produce really quality content every week. So coming into this 10th and final event, score 73-20 in favor of the Red Rams. Got to give Weedsport a lot of props as their swimmers are done for the day, but I think they did a great job just competing against JD and holding their own with only 3 athletes. That's really impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive how they have been able to do that. And since they had a long drive out here early in the morning, they still were able to compete with 3 athletes. It's very, very good.
So for this final event in the 200-yard freestyle relay, we will see Cameron Corona, starting it off, Alex Cole, Brody Kessling, and wrapped up by Garrett Fuller. Each athlete in this event swims a freestyle stroke. We're going to take this time also to show you the standings for the high school boys swim teams. First, sharing first place right now, JD-CBA in Liverpool. Obviously, you can see close behind them, FM and West Jenny. But later this evening at 12 o'clock, we will see JD-CBA go against
Syracuse City.
That's right.
It'll be a very good matchup. Fun to watch.
Reminder, it will be a paper meet. That'll start at 12 o'clock today. Make sure to tune in for that. But that will be a paper meet. Syracuse City will not be in the pool with the Red Rams. We will be back in this pool next Wednesday at 5 o'clock to cover the modified boys swim meet against the West Jenny Wildcats. Make sure to stay tuned in for that. Am I on mute?
Oh, some notable people from Weedsport is Ed Murphy, who played Major League Baseball in 1898 and 1903. You can see they had some good talent coming out of Weedsport.
Also, Justice D. Barnes, possibly the greatest actor name. He was a silent film actor who appeared in the very first Western film. Thank you, Wikipedia, for that knowledge. News here that Weedsport will be competing a 200 freestyle relay. All of their athletes will be coming back into the pool for one final race. I'd imagine very fatigued for some of these athletes who just competed in events. Weedsport does not have the luxury of, getting break in between each event.
Yeah, and one of these swimmers have had 2 or 3 events in a row right now, so she's going for her 3rd or 4th event right now, which would be very impressive.
It's almost unheard of in any kind of sport, so again, just a great props to Weedsport and their coaching for conditioning their athletes to prepare for this. And we're off here in the 200-yard freestyle relay. Obviously, Weedsport will only have 3 athletes compared to the JD4, but we will still get to see 3 different races. Cameron Corona for JD in lane 2, holding a nice lead right now. Followed closely behind by the Weedsport athlete.
It feels like it's a kind of a close meet right now. I feel like JD would still pull it off, but it's still a close one right now.
Weedsport athlete is gaining on Cameron Corona, but I think now he's pulling away. And next will be Alex Cole for JD. Alex Cole, we saw him earlier in the 50-yard freestyle with a dominating win. Looks to do the same here. See Alex Cole holding his form there, losing his feet just a little bit. such a hard thing to keep up as you get fatigued in swimming. But here's Brody Kessling for the third leg of the Red Rams. You can hear the Weedsport coach cheering on her athletes. Obviously a very close connection between them. She only does have 3 athletes.
And that's very important when your coach cheers you on. It gives you great chemistry between your coaches and your teammates, which is always good to have.
Here's Brody Kessling looking strong for the Red Rams. To finish up their relay will be Garrett Fuller. We saw him earlier in the butterfly. Hey, here he is. He's got those long, efficient strides, and he's really chopping it up.
Looks like the fastest swim we've seen today.
I think so. He already looks conditioned. He looks like he's been doing this for a few years. Maybe so from club sports, but he's definitely going to be one to watch throughout the year and as he gets into high school and more. That concludes the 200-yard freestyle, which was the 10th and final event of today's modified swim meet.
So what do you think happened? How do you think this meet went today?
I think it was a great opportunity for both teams to showcase what they have. First ever swim meet for some of these athletes, so I think it was just fun to watch them get in the pool and see what they can do. I think for Weedsport, obviously only 3 athletes, but I think they did a phenomenal job somehow maintaining that and competing in back-to-back events. I think it was a great job all around.
Yes, I think it was also a great job. Since Weedsport didn't have that many players, since they were able to compete for this much, like how well they competed is very impressive, and how JD was able to pull off this one today was very good.
Once again, I'm Nick Dekaney, play-by-play commentator with
And
my
I'm
partner.
Werner, who's the color commentator today. Thank you for watching.